This video is sponsored by the Excelsior Sporting Club, Lion Paw Security Services, and Sigma Sports Management. Welcome back to Slothbox. This channel is proudly sponsored by Lion Paw Security Services and the Excelsior Sporting Club. This is James Lutton with Rianna Doforo. Rianna, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good stuff. Wanted to get you on today to see some exciting news that Steffi Board posted about your professional debut. November the 9th, I believe the date is, in Mexico.
Yeah,
Correct me if I'm wrong in saying this, but I think Steffi had said that you will be the youngest female fighter to have a professional debut ever. Is that right?
yeah,
How does that make
yeah,
you
that's
feel?
right. Yeah,
How does that make you feel knowing that in the history books?
it makes me excited, to be honest, just to pave the way. Like, just for some younger people coming behind me and stuff. And obviously, I've looked up to the likes of Calissa and Katie myself, and to finally be able to step up and be a part of the professional ranks, it's a big deal, obviously. So I can't wait for it.
It's also massive for your age. You're 15 years old. There must be a huge amount of pressure on your shoulders to perform. And obviously, Steffi's raving about you. It has been for years. Do you feel any pressure?
Not really, just because of the way, obviously, I've been brought into the sport, like around my dad, like the way he speaks to me, and he's basically like sort of taught me how to have the right attitude and how to take criticisms and also like how to handle this pressure. So honestly, if it wasn't for my dad, I'd probably be sweating it a little bit, but
Talk to me about your dad. You mentioned your dad there. He's been a big influence in you going into boxing and starting boxing. You started about 5 years ago, I believe, and it was all really down to your dad. And again, your dad's been very influential in your journey so far. Talk to me about your dad's influence in your boxing journey.
my dad's my biggest role model in life in general, honestly. Like, you can ask anyone, like when he's around people, he's just literally like he's just a proper buzz and he just uplifts everyone. And honestly, if it wasn't for my dad, like I wouldn't be half the person. Like I wouldn't have half repair like I wouldn't have like this attitude that I have towards the sport. I wouldn't have half the amount of confidence I have or anything if it wasn't without him. So I owe him everything, honestly.
Am I right in thinking? I think it's during lockdown he built a little gym in the garden or something like that, and he managed to keep you ticking over, keep you training, things like that.
Yeah, him and my uncle built a gym in the garden for me and my brother because my brother plays football. And yeah, it didn't take long, to be fair, for him to build it, but that's the lengths he's willing to go to for me and my brother for us to succeed, and he provides us with every opportunity possible.
He obviously sees your potential as well. As like I mentioned earlier, Steffi does also, because he has been raving about you for years. And obviously, the decision to turn pro at such a young age to take you to Mexico rather than keeping the amateurs. Just talk to me about the guidance you've had from your dad and from Steffi.
Yeah, it's been a very, very like drastic difference, obviously training professional compared to the amateurs, but it's been the best choice for me personally, and especially under the guidance of two very, very smart men. And one of them who was obviously done it all before with Terry Harper, and the other who's obviously my own dad who I trust with my life. So, it really is like an amazing opportunity, as I've just said, and I couldn't be more grateful for the people who were going to enjoy it with me.
In terms of turning professional, how much of this did you want to do? How much input did you have in this? Obviously, I'm assuming you get the final say so, but like I say, repeat myself again, but you're only 15 years old, turning professional at such a young age.
Yeah, like it was it was first brought up by my dad, and obviously it was never going to go ahead if I wasn't 100% with it because there's no point being 99%. You've got to be all in or all out with this because it's major. So of course, you know, it took thought for months, but I was always, as soon as we brought up the idea, I just wanted it and wanted it, and it just proved in the gym that I was ready. As soon as we got the go, as soon as we got the opportunity, we took it.
A lot of people will turn over to the professional ranks at a young age, 18, 19, 20 years old, and they say they're more suited to the pro game. They've got a pro style rather than an amateur style. Obviously, you're doing this 3, 4, 5 years earlier than those guys. But do you feel that's or do you feel you're more suited to the pro ranks? Have you noticed that in the gym with sparring, for example?
Yeah, even if you can, like, if anyone who's watched my amateur fights, everyone always points out like my style is not like that bouncy on your toes style. It's like very different to that, and obviously it very much worked in the amateurs because of the things I won. But you know, it's obviously much more suited to the pros as it's shown in my sparring. Even when I'm sparring men, I'm able to go at it with them just because that style I have, and I'm willing to be able to stand there and have a fight with whoever, but also able to box and move me around the ring.
I just want to mention your dedication to the sport as well. I think you split your time between three different gyms in three different cities. I don't know if you still do that or not, but I know you did do so. What does that say for you in your drive, and why do you want this so much to commit yourself like this?
Because I believe I'm going to be the greatest female fighter that this planet has ever seen, and that's a very big statement to make. So I have to do the training to back it up. Otherwise, what have I got? Without discipline and hard work, you've got nothing. Do you know what I mean? You can say it all you want, but you've got to be able to back it up, and that's what I'm doing.
How hard is it? Do you ever feel any, obviously you must feel tired at times, you're traveling around, you're going to the gym, you're being homeschooled to so you can fit in traveling and going to the gym as well. Do you ever feel like, oh, I can't be bothered today? Or what gets you to go, no, get yourself out the arse, I'm going to the gym?
Yeah, I feel like everyone has them days, and you're lying to yourself if you don't. But I feel like it's the disciplined people that drive themselves through them days. Like you can't, like the way I say about my dad, I can't always rely on my dad to push me. I've got to be able to do that myself, and that's a big lesson I learned in this sport is, you've got to be able to push yourself. You can't rely on other people all the time to do that for you. So, I think it's just the disciplined people that do that for themselves. When they're tired, that's when you've got to push that extra little mile.
In terms of your pro debut, like I say 15 years old in Mexico, exactly the same as Canelo Alvarez. I say Canelo, say he's Mexican, obviously a little bit different. This is home, he's turned pro at his home. Um, do you feel a little bit gutted that you won't get your debut at home in your home country, your hometown, your home city, or are you just pleased to get the ball rolling?
Part of me is like, I'd love to, my debut to be like Liverpool, obviously, because, it's a home city, but it's nice to do it differently in Mexico, because it's known for being a tough fighting place. The fighters from Mexico have all been known to have very like very tough, strong fighters. So being able to fight there, where as I've just said, many great fighters have came from is really a very, very truly honour.
In terms of fighting in the UK, am I right in thinking it's 18 you got to be to fight over here?
Yeah, yeah.
So it'd be about, say, 2.5, 3 years by the time you can fight in your country. By that point, you could well be, world ranked on your way to world titles, if not already a world champion. How good would that be to have your first fight in the UK, let's say at the arena, the Old Echo Arena down in Liverpool, world title fight? How good would that be?
Yeah, honestly, it would just be so unreal, and I'd love, 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 love to fight in Anfield one day. I feel like that's every Liverpool fighter's dream. But yeah, like even higher up though, like I love Liverpool, love this city, but I'd love to go even further, like Madison Square Garden, like I want to be able to go like global, international, not just saying like in this country.
Talk to me about Liverpool, what it means to you. You can already see the passion in your smile when you mention your city. It's a fighting city as well. We see great fighters churned out of Liverpool all the time. They're all also very passionate about their city, their people. What is it for you that you love about Liverpool?
Liverpool is just a place where honestly everyone is just together. Like you can if you go to match, the environment is insane. Like as like the one thing that always clicked to me was when my brother and my dad came over from the match, how happy they was because that's what the fans do, that's what the people do, they light you up. It's that attitude, that fire we have, like when we come together.
And what do you feel you'll be able to take into your fights as well? Just from having that fire, like you say, that togetherness. knowing that you've got that backing and that fan base already there, starting to grow, what would that do for you to take into your fights?
It just gives me the confidence and belief that once, my time in Mexico's done and I can finally fight in the UK, I just know that I'm gonna have the support when I come back to fight in this country. And that's a great thing to know. And I wanna do this city proud. I wanna put my legacy down, I wanna show the other young people coming through, like that it's like in this city that there are opportunities bigger out of this city. You can grow bigger. It's not just the Liverpool's not just the boundary. You can go further.
You mentioned a couple of things in this interview already. You mentioned legacy. You've mentioned that you want to be the greatest female fighter of all time. What obviously you clearly got your goals and you've set your bar very, very, very high. For yourself, in terms of your route in your plan, obviously I know things change, things come up, but how long until you want to be a world champion? How long until you want to be unifying divisions? How long until you reach your goals? Because like I say, turning over at 15 years old, you've got a massive career ahead of you.
Honestly, just as soon as the opportunity comes, it's all in God's plan, the path set for me. So, as soon as the opportunity comes, as soon as I can get in them rankings, as soon as I can get them title fights, as soon as basically just when the opportunity's there, I'm gonna take it.
You mentioned earlier on you look up to Katie Taylor, Carissa Shields, and the likes of those two women there. Why? What is it about those two women in particular that you sort of look and aspire to be like them?
I just like the fact that both of those women, they're the ones for me personally, I think have paved the way the most through the sport, and they've set the blueprint for female boxing, and I'm looking to go further than it. You know, they have inspired me so much from young. I remember watching Katie fight live, and I remember saying to my dad, I want to do this, I want to do that. And him saying to me, you gotta work hard to do all this. And yeah, like training with Collision and stuff, just her attitude and seeing her like, how she didn't let like the fans do on Savannah Marshall's side get to it. Like I can appreciate that they do her attitude and stuff what she's had towards the sport and how she's held her head up high. And especially the class that Katie carries, she's never out of line. She always just minds her own business.
Talked about your maturity. I know I keep mentioning it, but you are a very young lady still. You seem to have a very smart head on your shoulders. You seem very driven. You know what you want. Talk to me about that side of things. And do you want to be a role model, in 10, 15, 20 years' time to girls coming through into the sport at your age now?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like, especially going this pro game at such a young age, maturity is a big thing because for me to be took seriously, I have to be mature. Unfortunately, that may mean not having, a normal childhood, but I'm willing to sacrifice that because in the long term, it's gonna really pay off. So, as I just said, to be took seriously, I've got to be mature.
You mentioned their sacrifices. The last question I'm going to ask you, Rianna, other people have made sacrifices for you. You mentioned your dad, Steffi Ball, and there'll be more people in your career who will also take sacrifices for you. Just a message to those guys who have believed in you so far.
Yeah, honestly, like the likes of my coach in Liverpool, Danny Rivo, Steffi, obviously, and my dad, like I'm so grateful towards them. And even if I don't say it to them, I feel like the way we are in the gym and the way like, there's passion there and we're all so dedicated and it just works. And honestly, like the time and effort they put into me, I couldn't honestly like be more grateful towards them.
No, absolutely. Well, Rianna, I want to thank you for your time today. I'm really looking forward to your professional debut and following a journey and your successful career ahead.
Thank you.
No worries at all. Thanks for your time.
Bye.